Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LTA. We're back in the upper bracket today after some very interesting lower bracket action the previous couple of days. It's FlyQuest slotted to go up against Shopify Rebellion to see who's the meanest, greenest team in the league.
Well, I would say FlyQuest are greener.
I'd say they're probably meaner, too. These guys are looking ferocious.
They've got a lot of green on them. I actually like, too, how honest Fudge was when you asked him, like, what is the weakness you want to attack on FlyQuest? And he was like, mid lane. Well, they don't play with their mid laner a lot. So I want to see if they follow through in attacking mid lane, because that's what we and a lot of people have noticed on FlyQuest too. You know, Quad has had a lot of games where his lane phase is, you know, not up to the rest basically of the lanes. And so if they try and attack mid lane in draft and then also have Contractz ganking early, you know, that may be the route of attack that Shopify try and look. Of course, everybody's looking at this series as FlyQuest should win. How do Shopify change that story?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of that is also going to depend upon Palafox and Contractz. If you're talking about the mid lane, those are the two that are most likely to affect that, right? Palafox, you know, when he is playing at his best, is incredible. Same thing with Contractz. These are guys that can be game changers, can be that 1v9 carry, but they also have some very low lows. So, you know, we have to see what kind of Shopify are we going to get here today.
All right, well, the first half of the bans are already done. Vi, Yone, Rumble, banned out by FlyQuest. Shopify removing the very stock standard Pantheon and Azir alongside that Galio here in their first rotation. And Yunara is going to be pick number 1 of this series for FlyQuest.
I really do like Yunara priority. I feel like this champion is really good at the moment. Varus got some nerfs to especially poke Varus builds, but still is kind of the answer there as well.
Yeah, and so it is going to be Orianna grabbed up here, so not electing to go for Taliyah. You know, I'd been thinking on this patch with first pick Yunara, we were going to get a lot of like Varus Taliyah as the answer, but we haven't been getting as much. Taliyah seems to have fallen down in priority a little bit here as well, but Taliyah, you know, is up and available if Quad were to want to play it.
Yeah, people really like the Orianna, how well it scales, good lane phase, all around kind of offers a lot to your composition.
And Viktor just feels like once you see Ori, people just want to go into scaling and wave clear and, you know, play that style of game. And it feels like you're already kind of locking yourselves into a bit of a scaling game. Of course, you can play poke Varus and maybe play a little bit more early game focused, but it does feel like both picks on either side, you kind of have your scaling marksmen, you have your scaling mid laners, your control mages, and we have to see if it's going to branch out from there. One of the things that I really think works in FlyQuest's favor is their X Factor picks. Like, are we going to get an early Bard? Are we going to get something crazy from Bwipo? Those are the kind of things that I think is really interesting, and there is the Busio Bard, which has become a terror, and this is a pick that I think everyone is standing up and taking notice just how good he is on it.
Yeah, him and a lot of the rest of the league too. Our Bard pick rate has just skyrocketed with Vulcan, with Busio, with a lot of the players who he as well. So many, you know, Bard aficionados. And what I was going to say is one of the things when you use Varus and Orianna as your carries, you have both no dashes on either carry, and so it is immediate like, all right, how are we going to punish these low mobility carries? Bard is a great example. There are a lot of dive champions in the game as well that can try and punish them. But Bard is like, my ultimate should get flashes pretty frequently. Of course, Varus, if you go for poke build, then you'll get a lot of move speed. Maybe you get a Ghost Blade, maybe Boots of Swiftness. Orianna can still speed herself up, but Bards can still, you know, force a lot of summoner spells.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Orianna has the W move speed, which just to me has always seemed like you're walking on one of those little paths at the airport, you know, on the little treadmills on the air.
You're like a little bit faster.
You can kind of speed walk out of there. Maybe you can get out of that.
If you're already towards the edge,
yeah,
then you
get that little whoop, that little speed boost, you know. Scoot your butt out of there.
But that's also why they banned Jarvan here, because Jarvan is another champion that can punish low mobility carries.
Out of that.
Yeah, exactly. No matter how quick that airport traction thing is going.
Is that a treadmill? What do you even call that? Because it's not an escalator.
It's a moving floor.
Oh, yeah. I think treadmill is the closest.
Yeah, treadmill.
It's like very long treadmill.
Yeah, it's just a big treadmill.
All right, let's see what we're getting in the second half of our draft here, because we still haven't seen either side lock in a jungler. We haven't seen either side lock in a top laner. So let's see, with Gwen, Jarvan, and Sion removed, only one ban left here for FlyQuest. Running the clock down on this one, making sure they think about exactly what they want to remove, and the Aurora taken off the table.
Yeah, so concerned a bit about that Aurora top, which we do see a lot more in the LPL and the LCK. We have seen a bit in the LTA North, but not a lot. Only like 2-3 games so far this split.
So I'm thinking like Jax, Renekton type
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
If they really want like a full tank up in the top lane, I mean like Gragas and Ornn are still up there for full tanks, but those bruisers are looking pretty good, and especially if you're banning out Aurora.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just Renekton. With the Aurora ban, to me, that's what that was kind of screaming out. And that is a comfort pick for Bwipo. It is a relatively safe blind pick, but that is one of the matchups that in pro is pretty miserable to play into. A lot of the other kind of solo queue-esque counter picks people don't actually bring out into pro. You don't often see Quinn and things like this. So to me, that is what that ban screamed out. So I'm expecting a blind Renekton, and then we just kind of have to see what they want to go as far as the jungle pick here, if they are going to lock that Renekton for Inspired.
Exactly. I want to see some more potential, like some follow-up on the Bard engage. We talk about how Tempered Fate can be great for catching these low mobility carries, but what is going to be the next
Sejuani
step
or something
after
maybe?
that wears away?
So primary engage would be good. Like
I think Sedge works well with the Renekton also. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. You throw out the ban obviously to cover for the Renekton, then Sejuani gives you some of that primary engage. You have a solo lane to play towards. You have that primary go button. Of course, we're seeing more and more Mikhails these days, even on some of these tank supports. Yesterday, I believe it was CoreJJ, on the Nautilus, who was actually building a Mikhail's first item. So we do see that answer to the Sejuani, but it is still quite strong.
Plus, you already just saw them lock in their jungler. You don't have to worry about that Trundle versus Sejuani. Very classic counter pick. And instead, the last pick of the draft here for Shopify Rebellion will be K'Sante for Fudge. So the K'Sante and the Renekton, the pre-Fearless, this is every top lane game matchup.
So I actually like what both teams have done with their drafts. Because a lot of people really do like Wukong into Yunara, because that is one of the jungle champs that can really actually stick on the champ and take down Yunara and take out that big threat for later. And so if you have an Orianna Shockwave also, and you have a Nautilus point and click ultimate, then they do have some tools there. But meanwhile, I also really like what FlyQuest did in trying to punish these low mobility carries. And I think that Sejuani and Bard will have a pretty good time of trying to get summoner spells off the Varus and off the Orianna.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if you don't flash that Bard ult, flash may not be enough afterwards, right? Because the gravity field can get dropped on you. Then all of a sudden a Renekton is stacked on you. The Bard Q is coming in. There's all of these tools to pile in and knock down these carries. And if you do flash early, well, they don't have to commit after using that Bard ultimate. So FlyQuest definitely with a lot of playmaking tools, but a lot of power over on the Shopify side. Doesn't feel like they have anything crazy at all. It's a very standard draft, but it's one with a lot of scaling, a lot of team fight power, a lot of ways to engage. So this is going to be a really good test, I think, in game one of just how close to FlyQuest are Shopify, because there's no tricks with this draft. You have to be able to outplay them.
I think most people would say if it is like kind of even, kind of standard drafts, then everyone's going to favor the FlyQuest side of it. So maybe we'll see as they get deeper into Fearless as well.
All right, well, before the game, Quad was trying to get his team into the holiday spirit. Merry Quadmas, everyone.
You good, Quad? Quad, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
It's Christmas?
Christmas. Merry Christmas. Vesper.
Bro, it's August.
But you know, Casper is Santa Claus, right, Quad?
No, I will be
see-
Santa
you
Claus
see
if
how big he
Cloud9.
is?
If Cloud9 lost, I was Santa Claus.
She's Santa Claus.
I wish you happy Christmas.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Happy Christmas.
And good luck.
Quad is starting the Christmas celebrations earlier than Mariah
That's good
Carey.
vibes.
This is...
I mean, I do like the vibes, but we haven't even gotten like even close to Halloween yet.
I am down for it. If you got the Christmas spirit, it's about the feeling, not the time of year.
I gotta start thinking of what present am I getting for Azael now.
Yeah,
I
Maybe
guess
like
so.
something to warm his head.
There you go.
Well,
A
that's
nice hat.
Christmas in August is 90 degrees outside. His head's fine.
I can't.
Well, there goes his only gift idea, Flowers.
Maybe
I'm
it's
just
on
trying
sale
to help.
now.
Oh,
and they're
that's
on
value.
sale now because it's summer.
Now it's a cheap hat.
Maybe that's what
Thanks,
Quad's doing.
What you deserve.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you know, speaking of Christmas and the team's getting all woken up, we want to track how awake Contractz is, because they were talking about him on pros. The coaches, Spawn in particular, was talking about how Contractz, he is such a 1v9 player at his best, and he was saying, I'll tell you how the series is going to go if you tell me how Contractz is feeling in the morning, because that guy can single-handedly win you games. So we thought, throughout the series, we're going to do some vibe checks. We're gonna track how Contractz is doing. Is he still asleep? Is he the best jungler in the West, or is he just, you know, a normal everyday Contractz?
Yeah, we'll check in on it. Right now, they're both full clearing, so that could be any of these states. You could literally do that in
You're
your
not
sleep.
wrong. Yeah, I mean, Canyon could be full clearing, or you could be regular solo queue jungler full clearing.
Exactly. So we'll see when we do get into it if Contractz wakes up and there's some presents under the tree, or if the Grinch...
Or are the presents for the other team?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you the present?
Of course, he is Wukong, so generally you are going to want to wait till level 6 to deliver those presents, power farming in multiple clears, and getting to that big power spike. Whereas Inspired, I feel like on the Sejuani, will probably be looking to get involved a little bit earlier if he can.
Yeah, absolutely. If he sees an angle, I'm sure that he will look for it, but Inspired is also a very farm-heavy player. We touched on the Busio Bard, but this guy has been stellar on it. It's not just the stats, of course, but people are really starting to associate this with him as, you know, a signature pick, because he has been fantastic both regionally and internationally. We saw him, you know, styling on G2 with it. He's such a playmaker and just always seems to be in the right place at the right time, which I think is further enabling that Bard play.
And my absolute favorite thing about his Bard is how confidently and well he plays on low life, because that makes every one of the clips even more exciting. He constantly is escaping with super low life, you know, baiting people in. Top side here, Contractz is awake and goes for the small timing window where he did a full clear and got his crab, and wants to get more pressure up here for Fudge.
Okay, Inspired, ready to join up now here too. Just taps him with the W there. There's not a whole lot more to do for the side of FlyQuest, but Massu has made the early switch already here, bringing the AD carry up into the top side right before Bwipo has to take his recall and then shift his position down to the bottom lane instead.
Yeah, and the timing there was really good because Bwipo was able to hold the wave and not allow that to crash.
Draft alert! I think SR is going to win this game.
Upset what?
Yeah, SR for sure going to win this game. I think Wukong is the best champion in the draft. Ori Wukong combo is too good. They're win.
Does he have a legitimate, like, air raids?
Well, I gotta say, that is a vast improvement over the other horn that you and Raz were using.
The squeaky horn that Raz ran out of
I
gas?
take no responsibility for the horn. You know?
Thank
I'm just
God.
the horn honker. I'm not the horn buyer.
Big Dokes has some good taste in air horns. I like that one. And also, you know, he talked about the Wukong Orianna combo that we're highlighting in draft. You know, that has the potential to win them the game. So we'll see indeed how and if they can pull out that combo.
Yeah, and this is not great for Bwipo. He TP's down to the bot side, and the wave, he took a frozen wave and donated that to his bot lane on top side, and he TP'd into a wave that was pushing away from him, right? So he goes from a really advantageous lane state, you know, donates that to his bot lane, TP's into a really rough state, where he then is getting chunked out, and now Inspired is going to have to come down here and protect him because they are realizing he is potentially in a lot of danger. I don't think they saw Inspired. I think he's playing right on the edge of vision, or did they spot him? That's hard to know. It seemed like they were posturing pretty aggressively, but they would have seen the passive kind of attachment there, right?
Yeah, the little glacial
The little
ice
glacial
thingy.
thing, I think you can see that, but I'm not actually 100% sure.
Well, we'll see if we can get any more aggro out of the pushing duo bottom lane here for Bvoy and Seos, because right now that's creating enough space for Contractz and Palafox to move on over and work on taking the first Drake together. Fudge just has to back away here as Busio and Massu gonna try to put as much punishment on him as they can, considering they know that this top lane switch means that the duo should be abusing those solo top laners as often and as consistently as they can.
Want to see how many charms Busio can pick up, too, in these lane swaps. We're moving all over the map and using that extra move speed. But we do indeed get the answer back here. So Varus and Nautilus are going to come out and try and fix this top side, because currently a lot of those minions just dying off as FlyQuest are keeping it in a very nice spot right in front of their turret.
Yeah, and Bwipo was able to get the crash down on this bot side, so the wave, will come back towards him. So he is, in a pretty good spot now. Top lane, of course, is very even though overall, and we are going to see Quad get that wave pushed in with his ulti, and he's going to take a reset.
I do want to see where Inspired uses his first Sejuani ultimate. He's level 6 now, so he has huge potential. Again, our focus a lot is on blowing these flashes early, and then you get the repeat plays to actually look for the kills. But Contractz himself is level 6 as well, so we know how effective a Wukong with ult and flash can be.
Oh yeah, double flash ultis on both of these champions. Very scary stuff. A lot of lethal potential there if they can find a good angle to get involved with the ganks. Right now you can see that wave is starting to stack up a little bit for the side of FlyQuest, so they are going to push forward. Contractz hanging around, clearing out his Krugs in the meantime, just to make good use of that time while Massu and Busio are shoving forward. And then we'll see if Contractz can get any sort of an angle here. But right now, it doesn't look like we're going to see that since he's just grabbing the red buff on the second spawn.
Yeah, we'll see once these grubs get onto the map right now. And they've got a pushing wave on top side for the duo since FlyQuest have been building up that wave, very slow pushing that they had in a really good spot. So with that big wave that they were able to crash into Shopify. Oh, level 6s for the supports also are huge, and they need to come in.
Yep, this is big. Okay, first grub already goes to Inspired, but Contractz and Palafox are ready to step up. Exhaust onto Bvoy and the scrap on the side. In the meantime, Busio down to 40% HP. Has to go on a magical journey defensively to get out of there, make sure he doesn't lose any more HP. Still, grubs being worked on by Shopify, and this should be a 2-1 grub victory for the Rebellion.
Yeah. Good kind of attack there from Bvoy and Seos to get a little health chunk. And they quickly push the wave back as well on the bounce. So they're able to get the 2. They are able to get another credit towards these objectives, stacking towards their feast. Dragon plus the 2 grubs here for Shopify already.
Yep, things looking good. Honestly, very close game overall. Just a 400 gold lead or thereabouts right now, turning into 500 for FlyQuest. But a very patient early game. Both teams with a lot of scaling options. So I think both teams have the reasons to feel confident as they're going forward. It's interesting to note that it is going to be a Roa rush here for Quad. So pretty defensive. A lot of people aren't the biggest fan of that type of itemization on the Viktor, especially when there are a lot of melee champions they're going to have to work through here. But Roa is going to make it so it's easier to survive that initial engage coming through from the Wukong Orianna, from the Nautilus, these types of things, if they are really going to be targeting that Viktor.
Exactly. It's that burst combo, and then the lethality Varus over the top. If you have enough to survive the burst, then oftentimes that will be enough to get off a whole nother round of spells.
Plus, we're talking about both teams being comfortable with their scaling. We're looking at a game state where we've gone about 10 minutes and still not had a first blood. If you know it's going to be a slow scaling game, sure, Roa feels great. If there's no PvP until 20 minutes, you get a 10-minute Roa, you're having a great time.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to see if this next dragon will be contested at all by FlyQuest, as the first couple objectives have gone Shopify's way. So they would get credit for that objective feat if they can grab this next dragon here in a minute 10. So we'll have to see if FlyQuest want to look for an angle. They were clearly interested in potentially fighting over those grubs, but once Busio was chunked out, I think they just kind of made the call that, you know what, it's not actually worth risking at this moment.
Yep, and you can see right here with our lane economy snapshot, that little bit of a lead that FlyQuest has built for themselves at 400 or 500 gold you were talking about, Isaac, entirely on the solo lanes right now with Bwipo and Quad. Especially got to give kudos to Bwipo on that one. We were talking about how the lane states were initially kind of rough for him after he did the swap. They wanted to give those resources to Massu instead, and so Bwipo just kind of had to eat the loss on that one. But he took care of it really well. He's up a kill's worth of gold despite the fact that there's no kills on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic job. If you can freeze the wave for your AD carry and teleport to a wave that's pushing away from you and still end up in gold, then that is just really well played in the 1v1. And even in that 1v2, being able to stay relevant, get enough farm that you aren't just kind of getting ran over is fantastic. And we'll see how Massu is going to be doing on the Yunara. Obviously, we've seen Jan play it a lot. We've seen a few people bringing it out. And it is such an exciting pick. To me, it is kind of that new age Zeri. and scales incredibly well, has the ability to take over in team fights, which I always see Massu, his team fighting is such a big strength, I think, of his.
Yeah, if they can keep him safe, then he just annihilates these melee champs that are grouped up next to each other. If they are grouped up next to each other, indeed. And they're going to start out the Dragon. So here we go. Let's see if Shopify try and attack from this control ward, from their Tri-Brush ward right there, because mid lane's getting pushed in, and Palafox at 50% HP, so I think they should just call it off. Mid lane prio is not there, so no reason to risk anything.
Exactly. Plus, look at the itemization on FlyQuest. Fully completed items are already there with the Roa, the Heartsteel, the Black Cleaver for Bwipo, who has a teleport to be ready to arrive. Fudge only just now completed Iceborne Gauntlet. Bvoy only just now completed Ghostblade. So if they would have tried to fight 30 seconds ago for the Drake, they would have had to do it into a pretty significant itemization disadvantage.
And you've got the Orianna rushing for Merc Treads because of obviously playing into Viktor, but also the Sejuani. So rushing into that tenacity is going to delay pretty heavily your first item.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much CC on that team, so it makes a lot of sense. But like you're saying, that first power spike could be slowed down a lot. But I mean, there's Sejuani CC, there's the Gravity Field, there's Renekton stun, there's the Bard stun. There's so much CC that you're going to have to deal with. So makes a lot of sense, but it is that tax that you will have to pay. And FlyQuest, for now, will at least delay the objective feat from being claimed by Shopify. And we'll have to look towards the Herald here in a couple minutes to see if Shopify will be able to claim that first feat objective.
I'm looking forward to the Herald, not for that feat, but hopefully for the PvP one, Azael. We still have nothing on the board for either side here, especially considering the explosive gank power of both of these junglers post level 6. I'm really hoping we get some spice here soon.
Did you not get enough crazy action yesterday with 100 Thieves and Team Liquid?
I love that. Give me more of that.
we've got cooler heads prevailing here so far, and a lot of people would expect that from FlyQuest. But Shopify, people also see as this like hot-headed team. They're gonna go crazy at all the time. But because they have this draft, I feel like they've actually come in really well prepared, calm and focused, and got themselves 2 of the early objectives. So we'll see about that number 3 that you are heavily anticipating, Flowers, and if you will get any sort of action there, because Trinity Force is done on Wukong, so there is real threat here for trying to actually kill off those carries.
And I mean, I think they have a lot of reasons to be confident. You know, they have been looking good in playoffs, and Bvoy is on a pick that is absolute comfort for him. You know, one of his best picks, I think, in his career. You know, 49 and 20 on it, and this guy has been very standout, I think, for the team, you know, for the whole entire time that he has been with them. You know, even when the team was struggling, a lot of people were really impressed by Bvoy last year. So it'll be interesting to see how he can perform in these 5v5s. They do have a lot of good engaged tools, and sometimes that can be the best way to create space for your AD carry to get some work done, but he obviously has to avoid a lot on the FlyQuest side as well.
All right. That's an objective right there, Flowers. The honey fruit in the river.
The river fruit?
They defend the fruit. They deal some damage to Inspired.
Okay.
And Fudge heals up.
We're at that part of a low action game where the river honey fruits are now an objective. All right. Oh, and there's still one left. One apple on the ground next to the trees got left behind.
Are they apples or like melons?
They look like crab apples to me.
I always thought they were more like melons, because when you step on them, they're like really squishy and juicy.
Oh yeah,
apples are
that
really
would probably
hard.
taste better than a crab apple too.
Especially, well, they are by the scuttle crabs. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I take crab
Like
apple.
half eaten, you know, they're kind of like chewed on. It's like, have you ever gone to an apple orchard? All the apples that are on the ground and like critters have gotten into them and stuff. Oh, is that what they're eating?
That's gross.
Is that like, I mean, desperate times come for desperate measures.
Are we animals? We're eating off the ground?
Yeah, in some cases, yes. You play volibear.
Yeah, there was a Sejuani right over there.
Yeah, so in some cases, yes, we are.
All right, well, this topside grab will not be lost to the world either. Inspired's going to pick that one up. Busio right here next to him, but Shopify Rebellion are also in the area as the mid laners are trying to get control over that top lane minion push.
And this will already be the latest First Blood in NA this year. So
we
have passed that mark. We're just getting all the slow games out in game number 1.
Okay.
You know, we're preparing for the bloodbaths.
It's truly an intellectual game.
Exactly. This is the plot at the start of the movie, before all the gun battles happen, you know?
Palafox just dropped the
establish why
shockwave
they're
there
shooting
on
each other.
quads, so no shockwave available for an upcoming team fight. FlyQuest are going to notice that and move forward here with the Herald smited down by Contractz. The fight begins. Cyclone already cast for that first usage. Contractz gets back away as the clone is the only thing to fall so far. Fudge goes all out. Bwipo might just be the target here. A Tempered Fate only onto one as Bvoy has to flash and cleanse to try to get away, but the first blood belongs to Quad. Seos is down. Shopify Rebellion. They may have claimed the Herald, but they have to sacrifice their support and plenty of summoner spells to get out.
And they're going to lose a lot of damage on this tower here as well. So FlyQuest coming out on top in that fight. Can they just fully knock it down? It looks like they will be able to, so they should be able to get that first tower feat off the back of this as well.
It's always the Nautilus that gets left behind in these fights. He really Nautilus
is.
cannot get out. Everybody else can get out. So they get the Herald. Contractz actually goes to kind of slow down Bwipo here at the entrance. But look at the left side where Bvoy got fully chunked out. So Shopify, with their 2 carries so low like that, they have to escape. They actually got a lot of flashes down there too. No summoner spells left on Bvoy, but Busio now, that Bard is in Nowheresville. Goes back to the fountain and right before the dragon as well.
He was too hungry for the chimes. Those chimes will get you. He thought for sure it's a low action game. I can be safe, go pick up some of these. No sir, Shopify Rebellion waiting, watching, and now they should be able to secure this next Drake for themselves. Yeah, that was a very aggressive
He got
portal.
one.
Yeah, okay, so he got one chime and then immediately died for it. Unlucky for Busio there, as Quad's now got to be a little bit careful himself. Nice juke there on the dredge line from Seos. But Shopify has already secured themselves the objective. Seos still trying to get further away. Inspired jumping in with Arctic Assault. Seos barely staying alive there thanks to the McHales. As now Quad finishes him off. Gets the second kill of the game here for FlyQuest. The Viktor off to a 2-0 start now that the PvP has finally begun and FlyQuest are 2,000 gold ahead.
These supports are looking easy to kill. Mighty easy. All the supports are dropping and Viktor getting some quick upgrades as well. All the action here. Flowers.
Yeah.
All the action that is just killing supports.
Yeah, I mean, Seos had a really well-timed McHales, but then I don't know if his flash just wasn't up or if he just got way too greedy with it. It looked like he just was kind of trying to hold on to it. And it always hurts so much when you're trying to greed your flash and then you flash and you die anyway. Because had he just early McHales and then flashed out of there, he probably could have survived. And there are more rewards there for FlyQuest off the back of these plays. Yes, there's only been a couple kills, but they have a 3,000 gold lead because they got that kill on top side, then they took a tower. They get the kill on bot side, they take another tower, and all of a sudden, FlyQuest feel like they're fully in control of game one.
And over 1,000 of that gold lead is directly on the Viktor because the kill credit keeps going to Quad. And this is a player that we were highlighting before this match of, oh, is this going to be an area that Shopify try and attack? Because Quad has had a lot of games this split where he has had pretty rough lane phases, but he is off to an amazing start this time around.
He's the largest individual gold lead in the game. It's a 2,500 gold lead for FlyQuest. About 1,500 of that is Quad's Viktor. The Rod of Ages that he built at the beginning, that was completed at about 11 minutes. So 2 minutes from now, that's going to hit 10 stacks, and he's going to be even more powerful. He's set up in a great position to carry as we head into this mid-game and larger-sized team fights.
Yeah, I mean, he really is. It was even what Fudge was talking about in that pregame interview as, hey, you know, the mid laner isn't getting a lot of help, and maybe that's an area that we can kind of focus on. And a lot of people have been saying that Quad has not been as strong this split. He definitely has not looked like we have seen him in the past with FlyQuest. So the fact that he's out to a really good start, I think that spells very good things for FlyQuest because the rest of their team has been so stalwart, I think, and FlyQuest really feeling like they're in the comfort zone. And that is when you are looking for X-Factor plays, I think, from Shopify. When you're falling this far behind, you need to have that fantastic engage. And you're really starting to look at Seos, Contractz, and Palafox and how they are really going to join up on this initial explosive engage that you can find with that Wukong plus Shockwave or the Nautilus plus the Shockwave.
And Viktor is a champion that can do a lot of work in these team fights, especially up by Otacon, where these small areas, he can gravity field, places off. He can get lots of damage done with his Leandries completed.
Oh, nicely done there from Busio with a Tempered Fate to save the turret from the Herald damage. It's trickier to do than it used to be now that you can drive the Herald because you can try to juke the guy's timing, but Busio had that one just perfect.
Yeah, then you got to go somewhere weird, though, with it.
Hey, man, you're just going on a little cross-country road
for
trip.
WASD. You just hit that thing in reverse. Back it up.
Immediately.
But the 2 items for Viktor are really early here, so...
Ooh, Quad gets grabbed though. Massive engage coming out from Seos. They've caught the fed Viktor, but Quad still staying alive. He manages to barely get taken down as he tries to flash away at the very end. Massu firing back, wanting to get something in retaliation, but Seos and Contractz just found a huge pick.
We're cursing everybody this time around. We cursed the Busio Bard. He got killed going for chimes. Well, we cursed Quad. He goes down in the river.
All right, who you want to get next, Kobe?
Yeah, guns are out. Well, we want the series to be close, and FlyQuest still have the gold lead, but Shopify have objective lead.
Oh. So we're going to curse no one because we're honorable casters.
How about we ask chat? Chat, who do you want us to curse? Who's getting shot
Guns
next?
out. We could compliment anyone at any minute. They better watch themselves.
They better be careful, boys. Almost 22 minutes on the clock, and nobody started Otacon yet, which, compared to how some of the games have gone so far this weekend, is a bit of a surprise. We'll keep track of
That's the real curse.
which
Saying
team
that someone
goes
should do
after
Otacon
him.
is the real
Yes.
curse.
Otacon is the
Stay
bringer
away
of
from
doom.
that thing.
Now let's see how close we are to fully stacking that Manamune. Looks like Bvoy's almost there, 324 out of 360 of the stacks. Seraph's Embrace already fully evolved for Palafox on the Orianna, so the extra defensibility of that one going to help out once we do get towards this next fight. And the next kill of the game also decides who gets the feats of strength, who gets the empowered boots. We do already have feat of turret and feat of neutral objectives split between the two. And with the kills still only at 4 kills in 22 minutes, whoever gets the next one, they're crossing the finish line.
They're poking him flowers.
They're thinking about it. Their mind's telling them no, but they just happen to find their little right-click finger right over top of
I
them.
wouldn't wish an Otacon start on my worst enemy. that's just a line I won't cross. But
It's just inhuman.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
That's why you go poke him, so he gets aggroed, and then maybe the opponents are around.
Ooh,
and
he's
they're
kind of
like,
low.
"Oh,
Maybe
whoa."
we should do
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Well, they
He's
are
99% HP. We just got to whittle him down.
They are clearly very wary of this objective because they're just focusing all on the vision right now and trying to get that vision. And Seos has just been posted up there staring at him for the last minute or so and gets plenty of vision down. So another poke to aggro it and get some spells off. By the way, it also, when you just poke it like that, then it'll start shredding people that are in there just trying to clear vision. And you can start like shredding their armor a little bit, make them a little nervous, especially if you're playing a Nautilus. Sometimes you have a hard time getting out, so.
Well, I mean, it's just another version of the classic. If you know the enemy team is clearing out vision in the Baron pit, you don't try to shoot them. You shoot Baron, so then Baron gets angry at them.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, this kind of variant of Nautilus, like Nautilus was always a champion that had a high risk of a lot of deaths, but you're playing Spellbook, so no Aftershock, and you're going Mikhail's Rush, right? Mikhail's, I'm not saying it's incorrect. I actually think it's great against Sejuani as primary engage, but one wrong move, you are toast. Like, this champion is paper. This is like a Janna with a hook, right? Like, you are not a tanky boy at all when you are playing Spellbook with Mikhail's Rush on Nautilus. So you have got to be really good with your engages because they're almost always going to be a one-way trip.
Well, I mean, it's like how sometimes people before have called Senna Soraka with a gun. This is just Janna with a hook.
Yeah.
It's Janna in like cardboard armor that looks tanky, but actually isn't. Here we go.
Now they're going in after Bvoy, Massu, and Quad, putting down plenty of damage, forcing the flash out of Seos here now as well. Tempered Fate forces the flash out of Bvoy, but now FlyQuest have got to be careful because Fudge and Contractz are wrapping around from the side. Both supports very low. Contractz trying to use the Cyclone, but not getting a lot of value just yet. Bwipo making space. Seos still alive, but Bwipo goes in for the Call of the Meek. FlyQuest have already found 2 kills, and they want some more. They've had to trade Bwipo for it, though, as Contractz tries to escape and lives with just 50 HP until the Arc of Ruin snipes him in the back. FlyQuest get a 3-for-1.
Yeah, Shopify looked like they might have had a good angle to try to get behind him, but Massu is completely untouched the entire fight, free-firing here. And we can see it one more time. It's a great jump here from FlyQuest as they find Seos and Bvoy out from the rest of the team, but then you see Fudge, you see Contractz, and you say, maybe there is an angle. But FlyQuest did such a good job of protecting Massu. He has never touched at all, just constantly free-firing. Fudge is knocked down, Bwipo is frontlining on the other side, and FlyQuest starts to take over.
Exactly. They just kind of steamroll through, brute force it, and then Massu goes back in. You're not getting away. He's got the cooldown back up. Jump and laser gets the extra kill, plus that should earn them the Otacon during the replay, and he's gone. There you go. Otacon taken afterwards, up to 23 petals here, which will be empowered for FlyQuest. So on top of the gold lead, on top of their dragons that they've been stacking ever since the early ones there for FlyQuest, this game has just gone so smoothly for them. And now we're at 3 items. Infinity Edge is done for Massu. The Yunara crit is very real.
Yeah, this is starting to become a pretty difficult situation for Shopify to play. It's not like they're completely out of the game just yet, but they would have to seriously outplay FlyQuest to win a fight that doesn't begin with them just getting a really good pick onto a carry or some other super serendipitous engagement.
I think they have to land the Wukong Orianna combination onto the Yunara, or else the game is probably lost. Unless they, they're like picking off quad solo somewhere else.
Yeah.
You'll obviously also take that, but you really got to do something about this Yunara. 3-item power spike with the full crit synergy going, and the Hurricane just keeps on splashing. It's actually crazy.
And I mean, jumping on quad is just not going to be enough because look how tanky he is, right? Like if he has anyone
and
around.
arm guard down. Too.
Exactly. He's got Seekers and he's got a ton of HP.
Hold on. We already got a Tempered Fade landing there onto Seos, who tries to get away, but his Mikhail's was already used earlier as well. FlyQuest trying to get something here. Palafox goes for the Shockwave, but it only hits Inspired, and it barely even tickles. FlyQuest completely unafraid as they step up here. You saw Busio positioning with confidence in the face of 3 Shopify Rebellion players, and now FlyQuest, knowing that the enemy support is injured, they go ahead, they start up the Baron, and they demand an answer from Shopify Rebellion. Baron not dropping exceptionally fast. Busio trying to play spoiler to any approach from Shopify Rebellion. Fudge found himself in a bad spot, though. Pathmaker to try to get through. Inspired, falling back towards the rest of the team as Massu goes forward, and Fudge is in a lot of trouble. Massu on a killing spree. FlyQuest pick up the enemy top laner, and they're not done yet. They keep looking for more. Inspired taps Palafox there with a little bit of damage, but the Orianna with the Leandries, with the Seraphs, with the turret nearby, not in danger of dying, but now once more, it's time to put attention back over on the Baron pit.
Front to back is just so good for FlyQuest here. Not only is there a difference in the carries with the triple items completed for Massu, but their front line is insanely effective. Inspired is stacking the shields with the upgraded boots as well as the Canic Rooker, but here we go. Are they going in?
Okay, Shockwave there onto Quad, but not enough threat onto him. Now Seos is sure to die here, I would have to think. The dredge line to try to get him away, but the magical journey comes through for Quad and Busio. Palafox is going to be the next target, and another beautiful Tempered Fate to line Seos up as number 3 dead in this extended fight. Right as Fudge comes back to life, Palafox and Seos get picked off, and again, FlyQuest return to the Baron pit.
It's a great turn there from FlyQuest, and also credit to Quad really knowing his limits. He's positioning so aggressively, making himself that primary target, knowing how much damage will have to be dumped on him to actually die. They didn't even force his Seekers. That was Nautilus ult. That was Shockwave. That was everything thrown at him. Shopify are over here. It's desperation hours.
All right, Bwipo's back into the Dominus form. Contractz jumps in, trying to find that pressure onto Quad, but he's just so damn tanky. Even all-out Cassante is not having enough threat. Fudge, super low, Quad, Stasis stays alive. Bvoy doesn't have the damage to finish everything off, but the Baron is already gone. Another kill over to FlyQuest as they're up 7,000 gold wearing purple.
The control here from FlyQuest. Okay, look at it again. Quad, it does get shockwaved in, but the hook kind of goes right on the wall just next to him. And as you say, he still had flash, he still had arm guard, so they get to take the Bard tunnel forward to get their extra picks.
Yeah, and that's just really well done. They know they're going to be able to knock down Palafox, so Busio doesn't waste his ult there, uses on Seos, gets that next kill, and then he didn't waste his Seeker's Quad, so he has it for that next fight, uses it there, they get the Baron, now he has enough gold for Zonius. So that's just right back and ready to go, and it's feeling like Shopify just do not have the answers to the questions that FlyQuest is posing. They are one team fight away from ending this first game and forcing Shopify to maybe rethink the draft strategy. They went super standard for game 1, but it's been all FlyQuest.
I feel like FlyQuest are they just have so many pure stats. Like, they just have such good tankiness as well as defense. And then Busio's also there too. He's kind of chilling and making some moves on the Bard. Making some extra summoner spells go down, and FlyQuest, yeah, they just walk straight in. Inspired is insanely tanky on the front line, walks right up, they force them back.
Yeah, and that first inhibitor is about to fall down here in bottom lane. As Contractz wants to go after Massu, but he can't find him here with a Cyclone. Meanwhile, Bwipo nearly kills Bvoy in the back line. Busio does fall to the Wukong, but now with Bvoy and Fudge both down, this fight is a wash for Shopify Rebellion. FlyQuest are just cutting them to pieces. Only Contractz and Palafox left alive. No Cyclone, no Shockwave, no way out. Bwipo goes in for the Ruthless Predator and finds the stun. Contractz is the only one left alive, and FlyQuest will easily brute force their way through these Nexus turrets. The Wukong has no opportunity to try to get in there and defend. We didn't even have any deaths until after 15 minutes, and the Shopify Nexus falls at 30.